Hi there guys, I hope you are having a good day. Grab yourself a cup of tea and let's talk some boxing because there is quite a bit to talk about and I think we'll put it all in one video instead of just making a bunch of them. So if we talk about first Tyson Fury saying he wants to fight Dillian Whyte, I'd say that that is a good place. Now obviously Dillian Whyte has been searching for a WBC world title opportunity and Tyson Fury even said at one point he would fight Dillian Whyte and that would be for the WBC Diamond belt. Eddie Hearn, Dillian Whyte managed to secure that and then Tyson Fury said he didn't want to do it. So there has been a possibility of these two fighting, although Dillian Whyte has been the one going out of his way to try and secure it. Now Tyson Fury has said that he wants a Dillian Whyte homecoming fight in December before his clash with Anthony Joshua. He said, "I'll shut the bum right up. That'll be an easy one. That's definitely going to happen. I'm gonna splatter him." So he has said that about Dillian Whyte. Now, Tyson Fury does often say a lot of things, and he might change his mind next week and say that he wants to fight Anthony Joshua in December instead and get Undisputed rolling. Now, what he actually said was he spoke to his promoter Frank Warren. He said that he doesn't know if Undisputed can happen this year, and he does want to fight twice this year because he's been extremely inactive. So a Wilder fight on October 9th, then a Dillian Whyte fight in December would make him a very active fighter once again, because from October to December, that is a quick turnaround. Now, of course, a lot of things hang on that, like possible injuries, cuts, things like that, him actually winning as well. I do believe he is going to, but you never know what is going to happen. I mean, I'd like to see Dillian Whyte versus Tyson Fury. I don't see it happening in December. Tyson Fury said maybe Dillian Whyte will price himself out and then the fight won't happen. That's not really going to happen. Dillian Whyte knows his worth and he wants that opportunity. If he can get it in December, then he is going to take it. He'll be fighting in October as well, October 30th, but it won't be a top 5 opponent. It will be the likes of Areola or Charles Martin, so there is the possibility that he could be ready for December. It is up to Dillian Whyte. Does he want to do it that quickly? Does Tyson Fury really want to do it that quickly? I guess it all depends on what happens in the next fight. I mean, the training camps do come into it as well. Now, Tyson Fury did address the situation with him not defending any of his heavyweight belts. This is what he had to say. "All that stuff like defending belts, it's all very unimportant. I'm never gonna lose sleep over what somebody thinks about my boxing career and how it's gone. I've made huge wealth, I'm undefeated, and won every belt." So there we go, that is what Tyson Fury has simply put, and in response to everyone saying he's never defended a world title, and that is still something he needs to achieve. Now, I mean, he has achieved a lot. He's won every belt in boxing, as he says, but he hasn't defended them, and he hasn't done it continuously like Anthony Joshua. So when he does say things like he's worlds away and so much better than AJ is, I mean, that's why there is a dispute. That's why you can say, hang on, AJ has won the belts, he's unified them, and he has defended them, lost them, then won them back. So he has that under his belt as well. And that does create the dispute. Can we really say that Tyson Fury is number one when he hasn't fought the likes of Alexander Usyk, Joseph Parker, Dillian Whyte? So the question mark is still there, obviously Anthony Joshua as well, but when you're comparing them before they fight. After, you don't really need to because there is one clear winner. Now, Tyson Fury has also reacted to Deontay Wilder being called the most devastating puncher in modern boxing history. He simply said, "Incorrect. I am. He was the biggest puncher in history and then I knocked him out. So that makes me the biggest puncher." Now, I'm not entirely sure. It really works like that because it does go off things like punching power, one punch power, knockouts, and things like that. But if Tyson Fury wants to put it that way, then that's up to him. He does kind of live in a world of his own, and that's fine because he does say he's number one, he backs himself, so fair play, but I don't think he's the most devastating puncher in modern boxing history. I wouldn't even say that Deontay Wilder is. I think that many of the fighters on his resume, you would expect Anthony Joshua to stop, Tyson Fury to stop. I mean, Fury it depends what kind of Fury turns up. If he decides to box, then maybe not. If he decides to fight the way he did against Wilder, then you're going to get a different result. Dillian Whyte, AJ, they would knock out most of the opponents on Wilder's resume, apart from, I guess you could argue, Tyson Fury. But then again, Deontay Wilder never knocked out Tyson Fury, so, you know, that's one big name on his resume. He was unable to stop the one big name. I mean, Luis Ortiz is there, but really, how good was Luis Ortiz? Who had he beaten to prove he is an elite level fighter, a top 10, top 5 heavyweight in this current boxing era? And interestingly enough, Tyson Fury has also addressed Anthony Joshua and the danger that he brings to the boxing ring. This is what he had to say. "I've got a much more dangerous man in Deontay Wilder than Anthony Joshua will ever know how to be. Joshua times 10 would never be as dangerous as Deontay. I've got a much more dangerous fight." So there we go. Anthony Joshua isn't half or even a tenth as dangerous as Deontay Wilder. Now, I mean, that is Tyson Fury's opinion, and that's fair enough, but I do have to disagree. I think that Anthony Joshua is more dangerous than Deontay Wilder, but styles do make fights. I mean, if Wilder is in there with a tailor-made opponent to him, like say he has for nearly 40 fights of his career, but nevertheless, if he's in there with the right kind of opponent, then he's a nightmare for them. But Anthony Joshua, he has different things in his locker. He can box off the back foot, he can box going forwards, he can fight on the inside, has power in both hands. So while Deontay Wilder has one big right hand, Anthony Joshua has power in left and right, an uppercut, a hook, and the jab as well, and he can throw combination punches. Wilder is now looking to do that, throw more combination punches, which makes him less dangerous because he does have that big right hand, and that is the one trick pony. He can't be any different. The reason why there is so much power in it is because he loads up with it and he draws it back, punches through the target. If he is not loading up and his feet are positioned differently and he is throwing combinations, there isn't going to be the same kind of power. So when AJ is throwing shots, he's throwing combinations, he's working off of the jab. He did have that one punch knockout against Pulev, but he has those things in his locker, and that does make him dangerous. If Wilder is going to try and throw combinations, he's not used to doing that, and I think that that could spell danger for him in the Tyson Fury fight, because Tyson Fury will know how to deal with that, and he might even have an easier time of it the third time around. So Wilder does need to be careful there, but I don't think that he's 10 times more dangerous than AJ. How can he be when he has one thing to do in battle that can get him the victory? If all else fails, what can he do? If that punch doesn't land, how's he going to beat Tyson Fury? Whereas you can say the same thing about AJ. If the right hand doesn't land, what else can he do? Well, we've seen him do an array of different things to still get the victory. Now, finally, should we finish off with what Eddie Hearn said to Tyson Fury in response to what Tyson Fury said about him being just a businessman, not achieving anything, and walking around like he's a heavyweight champion. This is what Eddie Hearn had to say. He said, "Eddie Hearn isn't a champion. Well, obviously, I'm a promoter. I'll tell you one thing me and Tyson Fury have got in common though. We've both got the same amount of heavyweight world title defenses. Absolutely. 0. So there we go, that was Eddie Hearn's response to Tyson Fury. Now of course, that is true, and that is a valid comeback. Tyson Fury hasn't defended his world heavyweight titles. He will do on October 9th, and even after that, I do want to see him defend against Dillian Whyte, so let's hope that that one happens. I mean, I know that if he beats Deontay Wilder, which I do expect him to do, he has then defended a world heavyweight title, and fair play for doing that. But still, we want to see Tyson Fury in there with the likes of Dillian Whyte, Joseph Parker, Andy Ruiz, definitely Anthony Joshua. Let's hope we get to see that, maybe at the end of this year, and definitely going in to 2022. Anyway, guys, what are your thoughts on this? Make sure you leave your thoughts in the comments below, also leave a like, and grab that subscribe button. Thanks guys.